Have you ever found yourself wide awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling in the dark, wondering why your body chose this strange hour to wake you? You're not alone. Many older adults experience this quiet interruption. Night after night, the house is still. The clock ticks louder than it should. And no matter how tired you felt before bed, you're now alert, but not quite rested. And in that silence, it's easy to feel like something's wrong, or worse, that you're the only one it's happening to. But here's the truth. Waking up at 3 a.m. isn't always about a bad dream, or needing to use the bathroom, or even the last glass of water before bed. Often, it's something deeper, something your body or your heart is trying to say. And the older we get, the more sensitive we become to those internal messages. Aging brings so many beautiful changes: wisdom, reflection, deeper gratitude. But it also brings shifts in how we sleep, how we process stress, and how our bodies respond to small triggers that once didn't even register. If you're over 60 and waking up around the same time every night, especially in those early morning hours between 3 and 5 a.m., it might not be random. It might be rhythm or memory or even something emotional that hasn't had a voice in the daylight. In this video, I want to take you on a soft, thoughtful journey into why this keeps happening, and more importantly, what you can gently do about it. We won't fix everything in a day, but we can start paying attention. We can start responding with care. Let's begin with the first possibility. Your body's sleep cycle has shifted. This happens gradually with age, often without us noticing. What used to be deep, uninterrupted sleep becomes lighter, more fragmented. That's because melatonin, our natural sleep hormone, decreases as we get older. It's not a problem to solve, it's simply a change to understand. My neighbor Henry, who's 68, used to toss and turn for hours after waking up at 3 a.m. He thought something was wrong with him, but when he began limiting screen time at night and added a 20-minute sunset walk after dinner, things changed. Not overnight, but slowly. His body relearned the signals for rest. Sometimes, though, it's not just the body, it's the mind. Emotional restlessness often stirs in the early morning hours. We carry quiet worries about health, about family, about time slipping by, and they surface when everything else is still. Waking up at 3 a.m. can be the moment those thoughts find their way out. And while that sounds heavy, it's actually an opportunity. I once spoke to a retired teacher who began keeping a small notebook by her bed. When she woke up in the night, she'd write down whatever was on her mind. No judgment, no solutions, just words. She said it felt like her mind needed a place to breathe. And after a few weeks, she noticed she either slept through the night or, when she did wake up, fell back asleep much faster. So maybe, the next time you find yourself awake at 3 a.m., instead of fighting it, ask gently, what is this moment trying to tell me? Sometimes, all it takes is listening with compassion. We're just beginning this conversation, and in the next part, I'll share more reasons this waking pattern happens, and small, powerful ways you can begin to bring peace back to your nights. You don't have to go through this alone. Stay with me. Now that we've begun to understand the rhythm of waking at 3 a.m., let's gently explore some deeper reasons this keeps happening, and more importantly, the kind ways we can respond. One of the most overlooked causes is something simple: body temperature. As we get older, our internal temperature regulation becomes less consistent. You might go to bed feeling just right, but by 3 a.m., your body may be slightly chilled or even too warm. That shift, subtle as it is, can signal the brain to wake up. It's not dramatic, it's not always conscious, but it's enough. Margaret, who's 73, told me she kept waking up around the same time for weeks. She changed her pajamas, tried herbal teas, even moved her bedtime. Nothing worked until her daughter gifted her a weighted blanket that helped regulate her warmth and provide a calming pressure. It changed her nights. Sometimes, small physical comforts can restore the balance that aging quietly disturbs. Another layer to this puzzle is medication. Many seniors are prescribed multiple medications. And some of them, especially blood pressure pills or diuretics, can interrupt sleep, not just by making you wake up to use the restroom, but by altering your body's natural cycles. This isn't something to fear, but it's something to gently review. If your sleep disruption coincides with a medication change, it's worth having a soft conversation with your doctor. Beyond the physical, there's something else, something more spiritual, more emotional, a sense of unfinished business. The early morning hours, those quiet stretches before sunrise, are when many people feel the weight of reflection. We remember things we wish we had said, regrets, gratitudes left unspoken, moments that passed too quickly. I remember hearing from an elderly man named Walter who lost his wife a few years back. He said 3 a.m. was the time her absence felt loudest, not painful, exactly, but undeniable. He began using that hour to write her letters. Nothing elaborate, just memories, small stories, things he'd tell her if she were still there. He kept the letters in a drawer. He said it helped him feel close. And over time, he began sleeping through until morning again. There is healing in acknowledging what's stirring inside us. And when we wake at 3 a.m., our body might simply be giving us the space to feel what we don't give ourselves time to feel during the day. So what can we do? For some, it's about crafting a soft nighttime ritual, gentle stretches, dim lighting, a familiar scent, lavender or sandalwood. For others, it's about creating a relationship with the night itself, seeing the 3 a.m. hour not as an enemy, but as a companion, a messenger, one that may leave once it feels heard. If you're still watching, that tells me this message speaks to you. Maybe you're someone who wakes often and wonders what's going on, or maybe you're just seeking peace in the quiet hours. Either way, you're not alone. And there's more we can explore together. In the next part, we'll talk about how lifestyle shifts like nutrition, gentle movement, and even daytime emotions can affect your nights more than you realize. Stick with me. The path to restful sleep is closer than you think. By now, maybe you're starting to see that waking up at 3 a.m. isn't just a sleep problem. It's a conversation between your body and your mind, between your past and your present, and even between your heart and the life you've lived. Let's continue gently with another reason your sleep may be broken in those early hours. Blood sugar fluctuations. After 60, many people begin to experience changes in how their body manages blood sugar, even if they don't have diabetes. If you eat dinner too early or skip an evening snack, your blood sugar can drop during the night. That drop can cause a surge in stress hormones like cortisol, which, in turn, wakes you up. Grace, who's 70, shared her experience. She thought her 3 a.m. wake-ups were purely emotional, but once she started having a small protein-rich snack in the evening, like a spoonful of almond butter or a slice of turkey, her night waking lessened. It wasn't a magical cure, but it was a quiet shift, one that helped her sleep through more nights than not. Daytime movement also plays a role in nighttime peace. It might seem counterintuitive, but restful sleep often begins with an active day. As we age, we may walk less, sit more, and stretch less frequently. That physical stillness can lead to mental restlessness. A short walk in the late afternoon, a few shoulder rolls while waiting for the kettle to boil. Gentle, meaningful motion tells the body, we've lived today. It's okay to rest now. Then there's the emotional part we don't always see clearly, how daytime feelings echo into the night. Resentment, loneliness, unspoken fears. These feelings don't go away just because the sun goes down. In fact, they often find their voice in the early hours of the morning. I once spoke with a man named Rajiv who had recently turned 75. He told me that every night he woke up thinking about conversations he never had with his children. Not arguments, just unspoken love, things left hanging in the air. He began writing short texts to his kids during the day, a small "thinking of you" or a funny memory, not to fix anything, just to connect. He said once he did that for a few weeks, his nights felt softer. The message here isn't that there's a single solution. It's that everything is connected. Your body, your food, your emotions, your movement, your memories. They all weave together into the quality of your sleep. So if you're waking up at 3 a.m. often, Maybe it's time to look not just at what happens at night, but how you're living your day. Are you nourishing your body with real food? Are you moving, even gently, to remind yourself that you're still here, still vibrant? Are you expressing what needs to be said, not to fix the past, but to lighten the heart? If you're still here with me, I want to say this: you're doing beautifully. Even just the act of paying attention to your body, to your inner life, that's healing. And in the final part of this journey, I'll offer a few final thoughts to help you create a nighttime ritual that brings peace, safety, and rest. I hope you'll stay for it. We've walked a long and tender path together, from understanding the body's rhythms to listening for the whispers of the heart. And now, as we come to the final part of this journey, I want to leave you with a message of comfort and a few simple rituals that can become anchors for your nights. First, if you take nothing else from this conversation, let it be this: waking up at 3 a.m. does not mean you're broken. It means you're alive, aware, and still connected to something deep inside you. That in itself is something sacred. So how do we ease the night? Sometimes it begins with creating a sense of safety. Our minds, even in sleep, crave signals that say, you're safe now, you can let go. A warm cup of chamomile tea in the hour before bed. A quiet, familiar song that reminds you of something good. Soft lighting, a book, not a screen. These small choices become messages to your nervous system. And over time, those messages begin to stick. One woman, Teresa, age 77, told me she created what she called her night garden, a simple 5-minute routine she followed each evening. She'd spritz a lavender mist on her pillow, write down one thing she was grateful for, and read a single page of poetry. That was it, nothing complicated. But after a few weeks, she said her body began to recognize those moments as signals for peace. Her 3 a.m. awakenings became less jarring. Some nights, they didn't come at all. Another way to reclaim the night is through breath. Deep, slow, intentional breathing. When you find yourself awake in the dark, place a hand over your heart. Breathe in slowly for 4 counts, hold for 4, then out for 6. Do this a few times. You're not trying to force sleep. You're inviting calm. The body follows the breath, and the mind often follows the body. But perhaps the most powerful ritual of all is kindness toward yourself. Waking in the night is not a failure. It is not a weakness. It is part of the human experience, especially in the later seasons of life, when the quiet hours hold so much meaning. So if you wake, let it be okay. Sit with it. Light a small candle, say a short prayer, or simply lay quietly, knowing that this too shall pass. And when morning comes, whether you slept through or not, begin again. A stretch, a smile, a fresh cup of something warm, a gentle reminder that your story is still unfolding, and there is beauty yet to live. If this video brought you even a little peace, I hope you'll let me know in the comments. And if you know someone else who wakes at 3 a.m. with heavy thoughts or restless sleep, maybe share this with them. You never know what kind word might reach the right person at just the right time. And if you'd like more quiet guidance, more moments of reflection and hope, I invite you to subscribe. We're building something gentle and strong here. One breath, one night, one shared story at a time. Thank you for being here, and may your next sleep be deep, soft, and kind.